Hi, I'm jewelry designer Wendy Brandes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't already subscribe, hit the button right now. I don't get to do professional shoots of my jewelry on models very often. This is only my third one since 2005. This shoot has been a year in the making, and I am so excited to share these photos of Judith Boyd. I've been blogging since 2007, and I've known Judith since she started her blog, Style Crone, in 2010. We've been online friends because she lives in Denver, Colorado, and I live in New York. Like all of us other original bloggers, Judith is now on Instagram under the name Style Crone as well, so you can look her up there. About a year ago, I was at another shoot, something, a little more low-key just for social media, and during some downtime I was scrolling through Instagram and saw Judith, and that's when I realized that she had to be my next model. I don't know now which specific photos then triggered that thought, but you can see some of her more recent photos and understand why I started thinking that. Now, while Judith does try to visit New York, she only does so occasionally, so the challenge was figuring out when I could pull a team together the days she was here, the couple days she was here, and when she wasn't busy. Luckily, this February, she was asked to walk in the runway show of a Denver-based designer called C.R. Lee, and in fact, Judith opened the show. With help from stylist Shannon Stokes, who I've worked with before, we were able to pull together a team for a shoot on a Sunday afternoon. Judith didn't know exactly what she was in for, and to be honest, neither did I. I am a big fan of Judith's natural white pixie hairstyle, which, by the way, she grew out from, she had dyed it red previously, and during her years of blogging, we kind of watched the grow out process. But Shannon, the stylist, a couple days before the shoot, started talking about adding some extensions to give her a mullet. I was extremely doubtful about changing a hairstyle that I really liked on Judith, but on the other hand, my ego was too inflated by the idea of her wearing my signature hairstyle, so I couldn't say no. It took hours to get those extensions in to her very short hair and trim them and shape them and make them perfect, but it was, I'm so happy we did it. Thanks for Judith for being patient, and shout out to Shannon for thinking of it. As you can see, Judith is amazing to look at, and also amazing in general. She co-owned a hat shop. She's still very into hats in the 1980s. She sold vintage clothing in the 1990s, but for most of her career, she was a psychiatric nurse in emergency situations. Now Judith is 75 and a complete style icon, and I told her that when she's walking all the important runway shows in Paris, she should at least remember the jewelry designer who gave her a mullet and, try to get me a standing room ticket at least. On her blog's About page, Judith says she's always inspired by diversity and individual expression. I feel the same way, and I really resisted the first model shoot I did back in 2012, where I was working with a publicist at the time who was really urging me to do it. This was at the very beginning of 2012. I'd only been on Instagram since May 2011, and that was a personal account, not a business account, so that was no big thing. So I thought, really, what am I going to do with these pictures? I'm not buying ads anywhere. Look nice on my website. I can send out some postcards and books to press. But the jewelry industry, if you don't have big financing and you're not from a jewelry family, it's so expensive. You're spending all your money on what you absolutely have to have and not what would be nice to have. And model shoots are nice to have. In fine jewelry, I'm working with platinum, with gold, with diamonds. Sometimes I'll have 400 1mm gems in one design. I have designs that cost me in material and labor, and not even valuing my own work. It starts like $15,000 and goes up from there, and I am far from the most expensive fine jeweler out there. And yeah, it's just an expensive business and you don't have time for nice pictures all the time. The picture you do need, of course, to sell any kind of jewelry is the product on a plain white background. That is absolutely necessary for press, for stores, for your own website. That's what you need. Some of my designs take me years to complete, in part because they're so intricate, but also that intricacy adds to the cost. And sometimes I'm actually working on a project for years as I finance it along the way. And things take priority, including smaller pieces that just have to get their product pictures taken. So when I had a publicist, urging, and that was another cost, of course, a publicist urging me to do a model shoot, I was not that into it from a financial perspective, and also because I really didn't like most of the jewelry advertising that I saw. The ads I associated with this industry featured white women in their 20s and 30s with pretty wavy hair and a hairstyle that didn't really appeal to me, very safe looking, and I didn't feel I had anything in common with that look. You might see some older women, meaning sometimes as old as their 40s, if they were, and they'd be white too, of course, but they would be celebrities, so it would be okay that they were past their peak. There is no peak, but past their peak in the advertising world, but they would still have that same hairstyle. I was like, I'm not spending money on that. And that look was so ingrained in me that it was like I didn't even question it until I suddenly, I had this breakthrough and realized that I'm not reporting to anybody. I don't have a boss. I could pick my own model and maybe the shoot would actually be exciting. And that's when I found the beautiful model Tina J, who did my first shoot in 2012 after a very exhausting go-see where the models come and kind of audition. If you don't have a lot of money to pay for models, you have to find people who will, kind of take pity on you. And I don't know, Tina was nice enough to put up with all of this, and we kept her for a really long shoot, and I'm not sure she ever recovered from having so many rings on her fingers at once, but she was a great sport and I loved the photos. And that was it. I didn't do another shoot for a whole 5 years after that because I was like, now I've done my shoot. But then my right-hand woman and I, Erin, met Shannon through a shoot he was doing for Paper Magazine with Bella Hadid on the cover, and my jewelry was used throughout that shoot. In 2017, Shannon organized a shoot that included models Trisha and Grace. I was mostly specific about the look I wanted. I think it was Grace. Yeah, Grace didn't have her ears pierced, which is always kind of a funny thing to turn up on a jewelry set, but she looked great in everything else, and that again was a beautiful shoot that I thought, especially with Shannon's help, really represented the image and the direction I was going in. I don't think I would have done another shoot a mere 2 years later, except that I knew that whenever things happened with Judith, I was just going to have to work around her schedule, and basically anytime she was coming through town, I was going to have to see if I could put it together, and it all came together this year. And it was great timing because the New York Times had, I think that January, when I was already working on the logistics, there was a story that was like, I am an older woman, hear me roar. If you want to see more photos of Judith modeling my jewelry, be sure to check out my website and blog. Go to wendybrandes.com to check that out, and check out my Instagram, wendybrandes jewelry, and of course check out Judith too at Style Crone. And I've come a long way because now I'm hoping that it won't be too long before I get to do another shoot with an amazing model, because I feel that jewelry is for people regardless of gender, size, age, complexion. It's for everyone. It's the oldest art form. It's older than cave paintings. And I love having models who show that jewelry is for all of us. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the pictures of Judith, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video.